Okay, we're back with the podcast again. This time it's an ADCC special. I'm in California, and the reason I'm here is mainly because of the ADCC. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the ADCC in the beginning, about the history of the ADCC, the origins, and I think no better than Director Extraordinaire Bobby Razak with me, who is working on an ADCC series for a while
With
now.
you.
Since
I like to add.
I know since 2014, March 2014. So
2014,
March
yeah.
2020 is going to be 6 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Long
So
time, yeah.
I think we're both encyclopedias, or we should be, right?
Should be, yeah. I think I am.
We've talked to countless guys and who are part of the history and stuff. Let me start with this. So basically, for people who are casual fans, maybe people who watch MMA but not grappling, the ADCC or the Abu Dhabi Combat Club Championships was a tournament or an event, submission grappling, submission wrestling, whatever you want to call it, that was created by His Highness Sheikh Tahnoum bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In 1998 was the first one, but obviously you have to watch the series when it comes out to know exactly how it was conceptualized,
Yeah.
right? And since then, it became the Olympics of grappling, basically. If you talk to any grappler out there,
Benchmark.
yeah,
Yeah, the benchmark.
me and you have been to a lot of events, and we've seen how hard it is for these guys to compete. Some of them crying backstage, some of them getting injured and not fighting months after the event is
Yeah.
over. So it feels like the equivalent of a MMA event, maybe worse sometimes, right? Because you
Yeah,
fight
worse,
more.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not one fight. It's
Very gladiatorial was the feeling I felt.
yeah. When did you feel was gladiatorial? Which event? Or which-
2015 in Sao Paulo.
because of the mats, right?
Yeah, the
The puzzle
mats.
mats. It was like an underground feeling, you know.
Yeah.
This is the thing with ADCC. You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Apparently, this one is going to be very different. I've heard there's going to be 4,000 spectators watching.
pretty amazing,
A lot
yeah.
of media coming. A lot of videographers or whatever. But
I'm going to be there filming.
obviously, you've been there for the last two as well.
Yeah.
Finland was great. Right?
Finland was nicer.
So I
like
don't know how.
Finland.
Do you think this is going to top that?
I'm hoping so. I like the color palette of Finland. I didn't like the yellow mats. It felt very dirty, felt very grimy. It didn't really work well with the camera. But Finland felt a bit more polished to me. They say China was not very great too, the mats.
Yeah, I was in China. Maybe the crowd wasn't
Yeah.
even big in China. This one is going to be on another level.
Yeah.
2005, if you remember, was here in California as well.
Yeah.
The crowd was crazy.
incredible,
A lot of
yeah.
celebrities in the stands. I think we can't go wrong with this one. Even production-wise, I've heard that this will be something not done since the early days in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
production-wise.
Yeah.
But going back to the history, when Sheikh Tahnoum created this initially, a lot of Brazilians that were training with him and training him jiu-jitsu mainly were trying to convince him to do a gi event, right? Remember that story?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, no way.
No way, no,
If
yeah.
we're going to do an event, I want to test you guys, right? Without the gi.
Absolutely.
And that's the rest is history, as they say, and that's how it happened. The rules evolved. You remember in the beginning how the rules were kind of confusing to a lot of people.
Very, very confusing.
matches were,
-1
yeah.
points, the takedown. The good part is not pulling guard.
Yeah.
Sheikh Tahnoum didn't like pulling guard, obviously. So he felt that if you're going to do something, you need to physically take someone down. So he kept a lot of wrestling there, which is, Marco's influence too.
Yeah.
Ricardo Rona had a little bit of the wrestling influence. So yeah, the rules were a little confusing,
And today, I think, because of this event, and you might agree with me based on the research we've done, 1998 was a time where, mixed martial arts was not even called MMA, right? It was still
No holds
NHB.
barred, NHB, yeah.
So the grappling wasn't a big thing in NHB at the time. Nobody understood what was going on except for what Hoist did in '93 and
Cross
stuff like
grappling,
that.
they didn't really know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
cross grappling.
When ADCC came about, it was like, that mixed martial arts as a term, you can say mixed grappling arts for ADCC because that's what it really is, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sheikh Tahnoum, basically, and the Abu Dhabi royal family thought about having it where the grappling arts, sambo, judo, jiu-jitsu, even sumo was there,
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
jiu-jitsu was there. Just get
Greco,
them Greco-Roman,
Roman,
even
freestyle,
catch,
folk style
catch
wrestling,
wrestling,
catch.
everything. So it was basically mixed grappling arts. So when it happened, according to many people we've talked to, and I don't want to give too much, but the series is
We have a
amazing.
trailer potentially.
So yeah, the the grappling in ADCC probably propelled and elevated grappling within mixed martial arts. Do you agree with me on
Yeah, it's kind of almost the equivalent of UFC 1. How UFC was kind of like a beta testing for all these martial arts. The first ADCC was very beta testing for all the grappling arts too. So it's kind of like a similar parallel. And actually, UFC 1 was a major factor for His Royal Highness too.
Yeah.
So he, was fascinated by Hoist and all that. But yeah, I think it was like very similar. You had all these grappling styles, and he wanted to push it together and see, what really works. And really, there is no real work. There is no real definitive grappling style, is there? Right?
A lot of criticism, goes to how the event has become more jiu-jitsu oriented. Do you agree with that, by the way? I don't agree with it because I still see the rules very different than a jiu-jitsu tournament. But a lot of people are like, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys get invited. But, the organizers keep telling me that somebody's knocking on the door. Maybe one of the upcoming guests, or no, it's not.
Yeah,
Yes.
I told you
is
she'd be
here.
in time.
Oh,
I
she
told
is
you.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling, man.
Yeah. So when
This is the beauty of podcasts, by the way. On TV, this is like, if this happens, it's like, oh, go to commercial, right?
Yeah.
But
Now check our phone.
Yeah, we can check the phone.
Relax.
Jessica Flowers is about to join us, and we'll talk to her in a bit and explain who she is and what she's done so far.
Amazing jiu-jitsu.
But before she comes in, going back to our question about,
Right.
do you feel like because jiu-jitsu is the superior grappling art, that's why you see a lot of jiu-jitsu guys in ADCC?
I think because the roots of Abu Dhabi is so interwoven with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Sheikh Tanu's evolution, it's kind of by default. I think maybe a lot of wrestlers don't really know about it too. I don't think like a Jordan Burroughs really knows what the ADCC is. Maybe he's never got an invite. It's complicated, I think the roots of ADCC is so interwoven with Jiu-Jitsu. It's been a natural rise. It's been a natural evolution for jiu-jitsu athletes. Once in a blue moon, I've noticed we'll see like some Mongolian wrestler. I know that there was a Mongolian guy that fought Cabrino a few times.
Yeah.
So you'll see like
some Russians,
a
Rustam,
Russian,
yeah.
Chechnyan guys that are coming in, but you don't see like the big names. Ben Askren. Jordan, I would love to have Jordan Burroughs in there. I think it'd be amazing, and I think he could do very well.
Does he want to do submissions though? That's the question.
Well, I think he can do a lot of stuffing too. I think look at Mark Kerr. Mark Kerr was not a great submission guy, but he held you. You know what I mean? He can hold you in position, and he could play with the rules.